Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Wargame Red Dragon replay cast. Today it's a 2 vs 2 on Death Row, and it is me in the game this time around, and normally I never cast my own replays, because I kind of think that's like, yeah, it's kind of like almost cheating in a way. And the only reason why I'm casting this is because it is the new map, the new 1 vs 1 map that was just released today. And nobody has released a replay on the replay site or sent me one just yet of any of these new maps, so I figured I would just play it myself and check it out and cast my own replay. So it is me and Dayspa as the blue 4 team. The red 4 team is going to be Blackadder and Dark Triad, and his full name, Dark Triad Machiavelli. And so we're going to speed this on up to the 10x mark. A very interesting map. I actually thought this would be a very bland map when I first started playing it. Actually lower the speed just a bit, but it is actually a pretty fun map. You do need to have some recon and things like that to prevent flanks. It's very easy to actually get some kind of recon and just sort of send them up the mountains, or just troops, and actually get them all the way to your opponent's base. You're going to want to watch that. I'm going to send out a couple phantoms here. My opponent or my ally sent out a phantom, and I sent out a phantom as well, so there's going to be fire everywhere on the road here to stall my opponents. And I think my ally actually sent 2 phantoms at the start, so that was very unusual. But my makeup here is going to be some recon Cav Scouts that I like to send out. I think Cav Scouts are very excellent recon. They are just so cheap, and pretty much if you just turn off their weapons, they make excellent recon. I have about 5 or 6 AGS rolling up the side here. A couple Pivads as well. My opponent has all of the infantry, a couple Avengers there. And I have some DAPs. I found that DAPs actually really aren't that useful on this map because it's so easy to get anti-air right here very quickly. And nobody really sends any choppers because it's so close that they don't send a lot of choppers. So DAPs, not that useful so far. I've played this map 3 times. I won 3 times in a row on the map. And my DAPs pretty much never did anything the whole game. Cobra over here going to spot all of this, but the HQ7 going to take that out pretty quick. So there's some things going over there from my opponent. And some infantry pouring around, but they have to go all the way around here, so it slowed them way down. So just remember, napalm right here on this road is amazing. It allows you to get inside this town well before your opponent. Now my AGS are going to be coming up here and pushing forward. The only problem is this T-72BU with 22 armor, and the AGS only do 17. So I have to be in very close range to actually do anything to that. Otherwise, I just get the efficient if I'm max range. So I have to be very close, probably about halfway to that T-72BU. So I don't think I'll actually be taking out that BU. However, these T-64BMs should get the Wrath. So these AGS are just going to push forward, just take out a bunch of stuff. That's what I like AGS for, just take out a whole bunch of stuff right at the beginning of the game. Then I bring in some heavier tanks. Sometimes I bring in heavy tanks at the beginning. Depends on how I feel that day, you know, what I want in my coffee that particular day. Tunguska all the way in the back there. 2 Tunguskas in the back. My opponent's going to take over the town line here. Has some Pioneers there. Anything that comes in there is going to get the Torch. And the AGS just cannot take out that BU. I can't even fire at it because of the 22 frontal armor of it. So that's going to be a very difficult task in the game to take that out. Dayspa sending a Phantom out again. Going to start burning the area a little bit. And my last AGS, for some reason, a Straggler is coming up there. And going to try and push up a little bit, take out some more things, but the T-72BU is going to take out that pretty quick. Phantom here is going to be lost. There's so many Tunguskas that are going to take that out. 2 HQ7s here as well. Dayspa sends another Phantom. I send another Phantom. So there's just fire everywhere, and I will most likely lose my Phantom too, I believe. No, my Phantom gets away. And the CV is all the way in the back there for our red team from Blackadder, and spread out a little bit over here. Some recon troops moving down the line there, and the BRDM made it all the way over here. We sort of, this was the 2nd game I played on this map, and I should have put more recon on the sides. In my 3rd game that I played, I had plenty of recon on the sides, and I think in my 1st game I did too. This is actually the 2nd game I played, and I'm casting this one specifically just because I thought this was a slightly more interesting one. It's also somewhat shorter than the other games that I had played on this map. Now I'm sending a Thunderbolt. I'm trying to get this T-72BU. However, there's 2 Tunguskas in the back. I totally forgot about those Tunguskas, and I actually never seen those Tunguskas until now. My napalm Phantom I did not see before. I think I actually got away with my Thunderbolt there, but I did not take out... Oh, I did take out that T-72B with that, so that was worth it to get rid of that off the map. And I will now bring up a M1A2, and I brought that up because of that T-72BU, but another T-72BU is on its way now. And I was actually detracked just as these Spetsnaz grew. We're trying to get to these cavalry scouts here, and I thought, oh shit, that sucks, because I wanted to get those grew before they get to my Cav scouts there. But that happens. RNG for you. The gods were not smiling on me today. The BRDM's over here just chilling over there. And again, see, you can just send recon through here, so you really do need recon. So this is not the most prime replay example, but you're going to want some recon. Some troops right here on the road line will stop anything coming through there. You'll just get hit in the face with AT4s or whatever you particularly use, RPG-7s, what have you. Some SMAs in the town here, holding off the Spetsnaz Gru. Going to finish those off, no problem. And the T-64BM is nearly out of missiles. Only one Cobra left, so not too much of a danger there. Dayspaw still continuing to pour in troops over here. LVTP and Bisons moving on up. And some Pioneers in the Bisons, I do believe, and Canadian Airborne or Marines, not really sure, and the LVTP there. He is using a NORAD deck, I do believe. Yep. And I am just using a straight US deck. My opponents here, Dark Triad Machiavelli. I think he just has a Russian deck, and for the other player, has a Red Dragon, or no, Soviet-Korean Alliance deck. And I usually actually will post the decks in the replays. I will not do that this time. The reason is because, first of all, there's 4 players, and to get 4 decks extracted from the replay is actually kind of a pain. Like actually going through and looking through, it's kind of like programming, like looking for an individual, like where it is in there, and it just takes time. And also, again, my deck is pretty much just a straight US deck, and it's pretty obvious like what I'm using. It's just Pivads, Chaparrals, M1A2s, Riflemen, Marines, that sort of thing. So nothing strange. Patriots in my deck as well. So neither of these players, and I like to only give the decks of the sort of the proer end players, if you will, the very high end players that are on the higher end of the leaderboard, because that's sort of a more interesting thing, in my opinion, to what they're using, to what the meta is. So now I have some cavalry scouts, and I'm trying to put the cavalry scouts in the line here and in the edge of the towns, and to see these, and then that way my M1A2, and I have 2 M1A2s now, so this is pretty much MiG-27 bait for sure right now, but I do have 2 Pivads there, so if a MiG-27 actually flew over, try to get rid at those M1A2s, gonna get rocked by those 2 Pivads for sure. So an eye for an eye, if you will. I suppose the M1A2 would be a somewhat bigger loss, but I'd be okay with that, I suppose. And sometimes the M1A2 does survive the MiG-27 assault and various other super heavies. So the M1A2 is going to push forward here, but there is that T-72BU. T-72BU is a hell of a tank and going to give me a hard time here with my M1A2s. M1A2s are just absorbing that T-64, but it's not enough to actually damage my M1A2s. More than 1 block of damage, unless they side shot, of course, as they are not enough. There goes the Su-27M, and it does take out my M1A2, but again, is taken out by those 2 Pivads there. So now I'm going to be backing up this M1A2 and trying to get away from that barrage. Again, the T-64, I just got cut off and only has 20 AP power. The M1A2, of course, has 22 frontal armor, but those are heat rounds, so it will do 1 damage should they strike the frontal end. Now I got to hem it up here to repair up my M1A2, and I brought that up to actually repair both M1A2s, but was lost. Now I'm going to bring up a Patriot. I'm going to set it right about here on the map. I think that's a pretty good spot. There's an a Raven moving forward here. It's going to try and get some of these Tunguskas with that, but actually loses the Raven, which is actually sort of a rare thing. The Raven in this game has 60% ECM, which is insane. So it's pretty much immune to dying, but lost at that time to 2 Tunguskas because of that 30mm radar. And so a bit of a stalemate here, unable to really push forward here because of my M1A2s. And that Patriot is now up and about, and now I have another M1A1 going to be coming up to join my M1A2. Problem with the M1A1 against the T-72BU. T-72BU has 22 frontal armor, and the M1A1 only does, I believe, 19 AP power. I was thinking of the M8AGS for a moment there. And so it is not enough to penetrate the T-72BU. So you need to be in maximum range. You need to be closer than maximum range to actually do any damage to it. So it's still a very difficult challenge to take out that T-72BU. I do have that Thunderbolt on the map somewhere. I haven't been using it because I haven't been able to spot that T-72BU enough. And also I know that there's two Tunguskas in the back there. So I don't really want to just pretty much give it away. Now I brought an Raven of my own here, and it instantly got destroyed as well. So that was a bad move. But hindsight is 2020. But I did get one of those Tunguskas, so now one Tunguska down. So now I know that I sent that out to try and clear that out so that my Thunderbolt could get that T-72BU. But it's all the way in the back there. Now some Spetsnaz Gru are going to be pushing forward, and I'm going to take out those. Meanwhile, Dayspaw here is holding really strong. He did a really good job of holding this the whole time, bringing up some Marines there, and the OVTPs and the Yuk Yunde are going to be pushing forward. Only 6 of them, so these Marines are probably just going to house those Yuk Yunde, and he'll be able to push forward a little bit and finish those off. Again, some units all the way over here. He hasn't really done much with them. And we have some recon that have pushed forward a little bit. Looks like Dayspaw has spotted that there is recon being pushed over here. So he's bringing some a Leopard over here, and it's heavily, heavily damaged. And he's got an LVTP there as well with SMAs in them, I do believe. Pivads finishes off a plane there, and I think it was a MiG-27. I'm not sure, actually, I didn't get to see that real quick, but I think it was a MiG-27 or Su-27 or what have you, and it took out my M1A2. So no more M1A2s for me. Patriot strikes that Q5D, does not do enough. That is generally the way it goes with a Patriot, is that if you only have one Patriot on the map, it will not, almost always not kill the plane that you're attacking. It'll fire usually twice, and one will almost always miss. It takes 2 shots from a Patriot generally to take out a plane, and the Patriot almost always misses once. Not really sure what it is. It has a 70% hit ratio, but the ECM from the plane that you're attacking mixes in there. Of course, doesn't always hit. Now, Thunderbolt flying around here, and I just evac'd it. I was trying to get at, I think, these BTRs. I think I was just trying to get some easy hits on those. I was going to try and outrange them and just get a couple easy hits on them. Not really necessary, of course, with that Thunderbolt to kill just APCs, but I was thinking of just getting a couple kills because I was sort of in a position where I was just really doing some waiting on troops and my M1A1s to come up so that I could do some more pushing. So in the meantime, I figured I would try and get myself some kills. Now, I did bring up some riflemen here. I have 40 riflemen just sitting in the town just to help out just a little bit. And now the Canadian Airborne and the Pioneers are having a little bit of trouble here. Spetsnaz and Lijan, Yuk Yunde pushing in now. And now bringing up additional Cav Scouts. And I think I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to try, again, if you can get a Cav Scout or infantry recon in that little wood line there, they're actually really hard to spot, and they can see a mile. They can just pretty much see anything in that line. It's really, really nice. So you definitely want to try and get something in there if you can, and it's not really a big loss if you lose it, because, again, the Cav Scouts are pretty much like 20 or 25 cost for them. I just bring them in M35s, so the M35s don't even attack. They're only 5, so it's very, very cheap. 15, it's only 20 for me to bring in these recon, so very, very nice. Another thing I like to use is the Mark 19 Humvee Recon. Very, very nice. Its optics, unfortunately, are only good, and it is a vehicle, so it can be easily spotted in, say, a woodline like this. But they move so quickly, they only cost 15, which is pretty much free, and you can just bring them forward and get them where you need to get them. And also they have 40mm frags, so they just eat infantry to pieces. M1A1 is back and out of here. Gonna lose that to the T-72 and the T-64 firing at once there. Patriots firing here. Strikes that MiG, or no, actually misses it. It was very, very close though. So Patriot has been firing away the whole time here. And now another A1 is pushing forward here, and it's going to shoo those 2 tanks away. And it's going to kind of shoo me away at the same time. And so I just don't have enough armor up there at the moment. Now my Thunderbolt's moving out again. I think I can see that T-72B BU. And here comes some anti-radar, some seed there. It does take out my Patriot. However, those 2 pivads survive, and they finish that off. So no more of that. And the BU gets finished off by that Thunderbolt there. It got hit by the M1A1 at the same time of that Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt hit it right after and finished it off. Now my Thunderbolt's flying around, and I think I may have forgot to evac that, but it happens. And now bringing up additional infantry here. And 40 more riflemen in these A3s here. And I do lose that Thunderbolt. I forgot to evac it. My bad on that one. 2 pivads lost 2 seed there, but they did heavily damage that 25 BM, so it did a little bit of damage there. And so losing those 2 pivads, now I have no more anti-air over there, so that kind of hurt me a little bit. Now we have recon over here, and they should be seeing everything that I'm bringing in, so that's kind of a problem. So once again, take note of where people put their recon, and you definitely want to sweep this from time to time. Maybe get a longbow or some kind of recon chopper and just sort of fly over this area and just see if you can find anything. And of course, have recon there already. Recon in this town would probably be pretty excellent to see anything coming through there. And we do have a CV here from Blackadder to recapture this, but we do have a +3 advantage. A longbow over here from Dayspa is actually taking out all the CVs in the back of the base. He actually took out the CV in Alpha, and now he took out the CV in Bravo as well. So really good job to Dayspa for taking out those CVs. And now the CV and the ZSL there has to go all the way back to Bravo. And that's going to really set him back. Now we have a +3 advantage, and we are just cruising along. And all my riflemen here at the edge, and I think I brought no, just riflemen. I thought I brought Marines at some point in the game too. So 80 riflemen here right at the edge to hold off anything. ZSL now moving back to the edge of the base. And this is the only remaining CV. So if this longbow finds this CV, it will be over. And I think he does spot that. And there he goes, releases that CV troops. And he's going to put it in the town. And maybe that longbow spotted that. Not sure. It is all out of Hellfire missiles regardless. A Nighthawk now flying overhead. And going to release on that CV. And hits it and finishes it off. And that is game by default of killing all the CVs. So really good job to Dayspot for killing that with that Nighthawk and that longbow. And so we did pretty well. The ratios were pretty decent, not so good for the other team. The other team was Dark Triad at Mikavelius, second lieutenant at 77% ratio. Blackadder was at a 74% ratio. Didn't have too many multiplayer games, though. But again, I just tried to get the game going. This guy did have quite a bit of games. Dayspaw's ratio at 73.6%. Didn't have too many games himself. And my ratio at a poor 48.7%. And 345 games. But I hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and that was the new map, Death Row, and so pretty good. So I hope you guys got some ideas of where to put recon and maybe how not to play the game if you saw how bad we lost some things, and how to play the game, because we also did pretty well at the same time. Held the town very well. I held the left side very well, and so just recon placement on the map is very important. On the flanks are easy to get around, just to throw some recon on the sides to stop any kind of, to see any kind of choppers or anything like that moving along. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.